You thought you had 3 days. That's what the title said. 3 days before everything changes. And you clicked because you wanted to prepare. You wanted advance warning. You wanted time to get ready. But here's the truth. There are no 3 days. There never were. Everything is changing right now. This second, this breath, while you're reading these words, the shift you thought was coming, it already happened. You're already in it. You're already different. You just haven't noticed yet. And that gap between what already happened and what you think is about to happen, that's what we need to talk about. Because once you understand this gap, once you see how it works, everything about your life starts making sense in a way it never did before. Let me show you what I mean. Reality doesn't move at the speed you think it does. Your perception of reality moves slowly, processing, interpreting, making sense of things. But reality itself, it moves instantly. Decisions are made in milliseconds. Shifts happen in moments. Changes lock into place before your conscious mind even registers that something moved. Think about the last time you had a major realization. The moment you suddenly understood something that changed how you saw everything. That understanding felt instant, right? Like it hit you all at once. But if you really examine it, you'll notice something strange. The information that led to that realization was already there. Sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks. You just weren't seeing it. Your brain was still processing older information, still operating on outdated assumptions. And then suddenly, all at once, it caught up. And you called it a revelation. But it wasn't new information arriving. It was old information finally being seen. That's what's happening to you right now. Something already shifted, already changed, already locked into a new position. But your conscious awareness is still catching up, still processing the old reality, still thinking you're the person you were yesterday, still believing your life is what it was last week. But it's not. You're not. Everything already moved. And these 3 days, they're not preparation time. They're processing time. They're the gap between the change happening and you realizing it happened. Here's how it actually works. Major changes happen in an instant. A decision is made. A path is chosen. A door opens or closes. And in that instant, everything that follows from that moment is already determined. Not predetermined like fate. Determined like consequence. Like dominoes. Once the first one falls, the rest follow a specific pattern. The pattern is set the moment the first domino tips. You tipped your domino already. Maybe yesterday, maybe last week, maybe this morning. You made a choice. You had a thought. You felt something. And that moment set a pattern in motion. And that pattern is unfolding right now. Not in 3 days. Now. But you're still looking at the domino you tipped, wondering when the pattern will start. Not seeing that it already started. That the dominoes are already falling. That the change is already happening. And here's the uncomfortable part. You can't stop it. You can't undo it. The domino is already tipping. The pattern is already unfolding. The only thing you can do is catch up. Stop looking at where you were and start looking at where you are. Because where you are is not where you think you are. You think you're still in the old life, the old patterns, the old version of yourself. But you're not. You're already in the new one. You're already living it. You're just experiencing it through old eyes, interpreting it through old assumptions, trying to fit new reality into old categories. And it doesn't fit. So you think something's coming. Something's about to happen. Something's building, but nothing's building. It already built. It already happened. You're already there. You're just experiencing the lag between event and awareness, between change and recognition, between who you became and who you think you are. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. Let me give you an example. Have you ever looked at someone and suddenly seen them completely differently? Not because they changed, but because your perception shifted. And once you saw them the new way, you couldn't unsee it. You couldn't go back to the old way of seeing them. That shift in perception, that happened instantly. But the moment it happened, you probably didn't notice. You probably kept interacting with them the old way for a while, kept thinking about them the old way, kept expecting the old dynamic. And then one day, maybe hours later, maybe days later, you realized, wait, this is different now. This changed. I see this person differently. And you thought the change happened in that moment of realization, but it didn't. The change happened earlier. The realization was just you catching up. That's what's happening to you right now. Something in you already shifted, already changed, already saw something differently. And that shift is reorganizing everything. Your thoughts, your feelings, your decisions, your actions. But you're still operating like the old version of you. Still expecting the old patterns. Still thinking you have time to prepare for a change that already happened. You don't have 3 days. You have right now. And right now, you're already different. Already changed. Already living in the new reality. You're just lagging. Still interpreting everything through the old lens. Still telling yourself the old story. Still believing you're who you were. But you're not. Something fundamental shifted. And if you stop for a second, if you really look at yourself right now, at how you're feeling, at what you're thinking, at what's pulling your attention, you'll see it. You'll see that you're not the same person who woke up this morning. Something moved, something changed, something is different. And the 3 days, that's not how long you have to wait. That's how long it takes most people to notice. 3 days for the lag to close. 3 days for conscious awareness to catch up to what already happened. 3 days for the mind to stop resisting the new reality and start accepting it. But you don't have to wait 3 days. You can close the gap right now. You can stop looking for the change and start seeing the change. Stop preparing for transformation and start recognizing you're already transformed. Stop waiting for the new version of yourself to arrive and start being the new version that already arrived. Here's what actually happened. At some point recently, you made a choice. Maybe a big, obvious choice. Maybe a small, quiet choice. But you chose something. You chose to let something go, or to pick something up. You chose to stop tolerating something, or to start allowing something. You chose to see something differently, or to stop seeing something at all. And that choice, that was the change. That was the moment. That was the shift. Everything since then has been consequence, pattern, unfolding, the new reality playing out from that choice. But you've been treating it like preparation, like the change is still coming, like you're getting ready for something, when really you're already living it, already in it, already being it. The mind does this to protect itself. Change is threatening, even good change, even wanted change, because change means uncertainty, means not knowing, means operating without the comfort of familiar patterns. So the mind creates lag, creates delay, creates the illusion that change is coming instead of accepting that change already came. It gives itself processing time, adjustment time, time to slowly accept the new reality instead of being shocked by it all at once. 3 days is how long that buffer usually lasts. 3 days of lag, 3 days of slow acceptance, 3 days of the mind gradually releasing the old story and accepting the new one. And most people live in that lag. They experience the change happening, but keep telling themselves it hasn't happened yet. They feel different, but keep insisting they're the same. They act new, but keep identifying as old. But you don't have to do that. You can collapse the lag right now. You can see that the change already happened, that you're already different, that the new reality is already here. And once you see it, once you accept it, the lag closes, the gap disappears, and you stop living in the space between who you were and who you are. You just are, right now, fully, completely. Here's what you need to understand. The change you're waiting for is the change you're already experiencing. The transformation you're preparing for is the transformation you're already living. The new version of yourself you're trying to become is the version you already became. You're just still wearing the old identity like a costume, still performing the old patterns out of habit, still telling the old story because it's familiar. But the costume doesn't fit anymore. The patterns feel wrong. The story sounds hollow because they're not yours anymore. They belong to who you were, not who you are. And who you are right now in this moment is already different, already changed, already new. Look at what pulled you here. Look at why you clicked this title. You thought you were looking for information about future change, but you weren't. You were looking for confirmation of present change. You were looking for someone to tell you that what you're feeling is real, that the shift you're experiencing is actually happening, that you're not imagining the difference in yourself. And I'm telling you, you're not imagining it. It's real. It already happened. You already changed. And the 3 days, that's not a countdown to change. That's an invitation to stop waiting and start noticing. Stop preparing and start living. Stop becoming and start being. Because you're not becoming anything. You already became it. You already are it. You're just experiencing the delay between the event and the recognition, between the shift and the acceptance, between the change and the story catching up to the change. And here's what happens when you close that gap. Everything gets easier. Not because circumstances change, but because resistance stops. You stop fighting who you are by insisting you're who you were. You stop delaying your own life by waiting for permission to be different. You stop living in preparation mode and start living in presence mode. The person you are right now is not the person you were 3 days ago. Something shifted, something moved, something changed. And pretending it didn't happen doesn't make you stable. It makes you disconnected from your own present reality, living in a memory of yourself instead of the actual experience of yourself. So here's what you do with this information. Stop looking forward. Stop counting down. Stop waiting for the change to arrive. It already arrived. Look at yourself right now, right this second, and ask, who am I actually being right now? Not who was I? Not who will I be? Who am I right now in this moment with no story attached? And whatever answer comes up, that's the truth. That's the real you, the changed you, the new you, the you that already transformed. And once you see it, once you own it, the lag disappears, the gap closes, and you step fully into the reality you've been living all along but refusing to acknowledge. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I already changed." Write it as your recognition. Nobody